Hello, we are back again. Yeah, we're going to continue from where we last week, and we had looked at the first equation of motion. Let me hope that you tried out the numbers and got the answers that were given. When we go to for the second equation of motion, shall have also three quantities here, rather four. Shall have the distance, shall have the initial velocity, time, and then acceleration. So in this equation of motion, we shall use S to mean displacement, and then or we can use X. So we develop this equation from the definition of displacement, and displacement is got from average velocity times time. So average velocity as calculated above, we got it from final velocity plus initial velocity divided by 2 times time. But from the first equation of motion, v, the final velocity, is equal to initial velocity plus acceleration times time. So when you substitute the final velocity into the equation of displacement, you'll get S equals to U plus AT plus UT, the L of it divided by 2, close the brackets, times time. You are seeing U and U, which are like terms, so when you add them together, you get 2U plus 80 over 2. 2 now is the LCM of 2U and then 80. So you can separate it and you can first of all multiply by T. You open the brackets, then you multiply T by 2U, you get 2UT plus 80 times T, you get 80 squared, the whole of it divided by 2. Then you divide by the LCM, you get 2UT divided by 2 plus 80 squared divided by 2, which results to 2S equals to UT plus a half 80 squared. This is the second equation of motion. This equation is mainly used when the equation involves distance and time. So let's look at an example. The body starts from rest and accelerates uniformly at 2 meters per second for 3 seconds. Calculate the total distance traveled. So you first write what they have given you. You're saying a body started from rest. What does that mean? It means that this body starts with a velocity of 0 meters per second and then accelerates uniformly at 2 meters per second squared. That means that acceleration is 2 meters per second squared, and then for 3 seconds, therefore the time is 3 seconds. We want to look at the distance. So the distance covered is got from the second equation of motion, which is UT plus a half 80 squared. When you substitute, you get S as 9 meters. You can try it out and see. So calculations involving deceleration or retardation. So we shall see that retardation or deceleration is negative acceleration. So whenever you calculate acceleration and you get negative, just conclude that this is retardation, or the body is reducing speed. In such a case, let's look at this example. A body moving at 40 meters per second decelerates uniformly for 20 seconds at 3 meters per second squared. Calculate the distance covered. So they are saying that a body moving at 40 meters per second, that means that this body is starting its motion with a velocity of 40 meters per second. Decelerates uniformly. Deceleration is negative acceleration. Therefore, acceleration becomes negative 3 and the time is 20 seconds. So we have UAT, we are looking for S, therefore we use the second equation of motion. When you substitute in, you get the answer as 200 meters per second. So you can try out that. You can try out question example 3, and then let's go for the third equation of motion. This third equation of motion is also developed from the definition of displacement, which is average velocity times time, where t, here in this case we want to eliminate t. So that means that when we want to eliminate t here, we go to the first equation of motion and make t the subject. When we make t the subject from the first equation of motion, we shall get v minus u over a as our t. Therefore, displacement s becomes u plus v over 2, the average velocity, times t, which is now v minus u over a. So you can, when we are multiplying fractions, the numerator multiplies with the numerator and then the denominator with the denominator. Therefore, v plus u, close the brackets, multiplies with v minus u divided by 2 times a. So when you open the brackets there, you will get v squared minus u squared. From mathematics, that is a difference of 2 squares. Let me hope that you have looked at that. But you can go slowly. You open that bracket. The first v in this first bracket multiplies with everything in the second bracket. That is v times v, which is v squared, then v times negative u, which is minus uv. Then you go to the next term in the first bracket, which is u times v, you get uv, minus u times u, which is u squared. So you'll see that uv and uv are subtracting, then you'll get 0 and you'll be left with the v squared minus u squared over 2a. Then you cross multiply and you get 2as equaling to v squared minus u squared. When you make v squared the subject, you come up with v squared equals to u squared plus 2as. This one is the third equation of motion. The terms there are final velocity, initial velocity, acceleration, and the displacement or the distance. An example, calculate the final velocity of a body traveling at 4 meters per second when it accelerates at 2 meters per second squared and covers a distance of 5 meters. So they have given us the final velocity. Beg your pardon, they are asking for the final velocity. They are saying this body started with a velocity of 4 meters per second. It's accelerating at a rate of 2 meters per second squared. That is the acceleration. We want to look for v, the final velocity. We have the distance. So using this third equation of motion, we can substitute and get it. So that's all about the third equation of motion. I advise you to always change the given velocities to meters per second. If you're given such a velocity, like the 90 kilometers per hour, you just convert 90 times 1,000, that is, we are changing from kilometers to meters, divided by the seconds that are in 1 hour. Then you substitute and get the answer. That's all about the 3 equations of motion, and they are going to be fundamental in whatever we are going to be doing. So please take keen note about them and always refer to them in case of any calculation in physics, provided we have acceleration, time, distance, the velocities, and deceleration. So that's all we can talk about here. So let's briefly go through the graphical representation of uniform velocity and uniform acceleration. Uniform velocity can be represented by a two type of graphs. One, velocity against time graph. Two, distance against time graph. When you look at the velocity time graph, that is velocity against time, we have 0 there. We have initial velocity. This means that this body is not starting from rest. When you look at the red line, it means that the body is accelerating with a uniform acceleration. That flat line, it means that velocity is not changing, therefore uniform velocity. And then the blue line, it means that the body is decelerating, or we have uniform retardation. Note, when a body maintains the same speed, it implies that it moves with uniform velocity. Let's look at that graph. We want to describe it, assuming you're told to describe this graph from point O to point D. So when you're looking at this graph, between point O and A, the body is uniformly accelerating. You compare with our first graph, you're seeing how the body is. And in this case, the body is from rest because it's starting from the origin. Then we have point B, AB. You're seeing that line is flat. So when we go back to our first graph, that means that the body is moving with the uniform velocity, because you're seeing time is changing, but velocity is not changing. BC, again the body is moving with uniform acceleration. Then when it comes to CD, the body is uniformly decelerating. It decelerates to rest. The slope of a velocity time graph gives the acceleration of the body. From mathematics, you looked at the slope as change in x over change in y. In this case, our x is t, and then our y is v. Therefore, the slope is change in v over change in t, which gives us acceleration. Shall continue from there next time. Thank you for listening.